What's up YouTube, Mambuna Marcus here. Today I decided to give you guys a little bit of a different video. It just happened that I have a couple of these catfish in this pail, and I've had these fish for quite a number of years, and I like keeping a scavenger type catfish in all my aquariums. They're excellent at picking up obviously leftover food and fish waste, but sometimes, based on the space that you have available, things can change in your fish room and your fish tanks, and sometimes you can't accommodate the fish that you want to keep forever. Just sometimes you have to make a change. And in this case, you'll notice that I have a guy coming by to pick up that big, large striped Raphael catfish that you see in the pail. And the reason for that is, again, a striped Raphael is not an aggressive catfish, but it's a very large catfish that is very nocturnal. And because of that, it is going to claim a territory in the tank. So if I put him into one of my established aquariums right now that seem to be pretty maxed out, and there's a number of other nocturnal catfish in both aquariums, this guy can go in and offset the balance of the aquarium, and I just don't want that to happen. It took some time to get some of my larger tanks into the balance that they are at now, and the last thing I need to do is put this catfish in there, have him move into the tank, claim a rock or a piece of wood for his own, and basically dislodge another one of the catfishes or fishes that have claimed territory. And what happens there, it just kind of offsets the balance of the aquarium. If he goes in, takes territory, he's basically going to bump someone else out, and now he's going to have this other fish that's bumped out is going to basically scrounge around looking for another place to stay, and because of that, it's going to offset the balance. And there's a lot of times there's going to be a lot of sorting out to do. A lot of times there's going to be some squabbling, some fighting, and because I'm keeping already some very aggressive fish that like I said, the balance in those tanks are now achieved, the last thing I want to do is upset that balance. So in some cases, I do keep a number of tanks, but the other tanks that I do have where I could put this catfish, I'm raising fry. They're not known to be, how can I say, predatory. I've never had an issue with a striped Raphael or any of the Raphael species at eating fish. But, at the same time, too, I don't want them to kind of go into the tank and basically just throw off everything. The other tanks, have fish breeding in the aquarium. I don't need this catfish to go in and offset the breeding territories. And just because of that, I've tried to figure out where I can put him, but I figured the best thing I could do is basically let him go to another home. And in some cases, that's just what you have to do. He's gotten very large. He's in this bucket with another nocturnal catfish. That is a jelly bumblebee cat. That fish here in Canada is quite uncommon. I had one maybe years ago, 20 years ago, and it took almost probably 15 years for me to see another in a fish shop, and they're very cool. And you can tell by the size of the head, and that's the smaller catfish in the pail. You can tell by the size of the head that it's even though it's maxed out probably at about 4.5, 5 inches, it's a very predatory nocturnal catfish. So something like that, if you were to put that into your community tank, it would eat all your tetras, it would eat your mollies. They go well with cichlids, but again, a fish like that is going to go into the tank and claim territory for itself, and I just don't want that to happen. I can accommodate the smaller jelly catfish, but I can't accommodate the big striped Raphael. The striped Raphaels are really, really cool cats. They're part of that talking catfish family, and they're very common. So, for those watching this video, it's a fish that, you'll probably see quite regularly at your local fish store, and again, is a very, very good addition to most aquariums when it comes to cleaning. They're also, like I said, called the talking catfish, and I'll show you why. Hear him squawking and squeaking? Squeaker cats, whatever. A lot of catfish do that. But this guy is from that family that's notorious for that name. So I'll put him back, but you can see he's quite large. And we'll get him to talk a little more for you. But either way, cool catfish. I don't like to give up the fish that I purchase and that I intend on keeping long term. But in some cases, this is what you have to do to keep the peace.